Unfortunately, many people think branding only ends at having a logo, but branding is far beyond that. Hi, we're still looking at what makes marketing, sales, and branding different. The first two videos talked about marketing and sales. So if you've not looked at those two, please go check. Yes, go to my profile and check for more of these videos. So let's talk about what makes branding different from marketing and sales. Branding is, I would say, so overall you've been telling stories, you've been putting out content, all the different things that you've been doing have been making members of the public create an opinion, an overall impression of who you are, what you stand for, what you offer, and all that. So there are so many components when it comes to building a brand that we have to look at. So your choice of color. So you can say our dominant color is capacity beyond limited is green. So you have a logo that stands out, that makes people know, this is not the other company, this is this other one. Or it's not this other business, it's this. It's not this person, it is the other. So your choice of color, your choice of your font type and font size, your logo, your story, the experiences you give people based on how you treat them. So over time, people are forming an opinion, and also how well you do what you do, and how exceptionally good you are at what you do, that people get to associate you with a certain level of performance. So the total sum of all the things that you do are forming an opinion that makes people to uniquely identify you. So branding is about creating a unique identity of yourself. Unfortunately, many people think branding only ends at having a logo, but branding is far beyond that. The physical things that you put that people see, to also the experiences people get to have with you, and it influences loyalty. It determines whether people recommend you for opportunities elsewhere. In the last 1 year and plus, we've done a number of training programs for different NGOs, companies, and banks, and about more than 80%, between 80 to 90% of these engagements are all based on recommendations that somebody gave. And then we have another percentage of opportunities that come because people have followed the stories that we've been sharing. Maybe things that, as a person, I've written on my page, because I write regularly on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and I share videos on YouTube and TikTok and these different platforms. Overall, people have been forming an opinion, and then they are concluding and saying, oh, I think these guys can be trusted. So I want to ask you, what are you doing to build your brand? Because in building your brand as an individual, as a business, as an organization, there is the element of being very intentional about it, that you don't leave it to chance. You plan it out, what you want to be perceived for, which colors. You don't want to be confusing people. Today you're on this, tomorrow you're there, or you just waking up and you're not amounting to something. So you have to be intentional so that your life is not just an accident, or the future of the business, of the organization is not just left at random. But also, secondly, is that you have to decide that you will not be associated with anything average. And I usually say you have to dare to be exceptional. Be the best. If everyone is standing on the same line, step forward. Because if you are the same line like everyone else, why would they choose you and leave the others? So you have to do things in a way that you stand out from the crowd and people say, so and so is the best. But the third and most important part is the consistency. You are not going to become a brand, or people will not easily form a strong opinion and that they remember vividly if you are not consistent. And our biggest tragedy is that many times We're jumping from one thing to another to another. Today we know you for saucepan. Tomorrow you're selling charcoal. The next time we find you on t-shirts. The next time. And so people don't actually know what you stand for. So in building a brand, it means that you have to put out a number of things that you want to be known for, and you're consistent and people get to associate you with. And maybe the last bit about a brand is that you have to ask yourself, if people were trying to talk about you and are mentioning your name, but your name could not be remembered, are there things that they can instantly say about you that people get to identify you with and say, I know that you're talking about Nobert. The team building guy. And then they say, exactly that guy. You mean this guy who is always doing maybe making videos on mindset change, on sales, marketing, and whatever. Then somebody says, he's this, his height is like this, his complexion is this. What else can people say that helps others to remember you very well? That's very important. And also extended to that is, even if it was not you that they're trying to talk about, if they're talking about the skill or the service, a product that you engaged in, and they say, wait, where can we find it? Would your name come up in those conversations? In Uganda, we know there are people that we know. We've known a guy like Balaam for music promotions, Salvador for comedy. We've known Amos Wekesa for tourism. We've known different people who stand out for something, and they've been on this repeatedly over a long period of time that the world associates them with that idea. But more importantly, they have a reputation. People know that they do these things well. So what are you known for? And the opinion that the world forms about you is the brand. It doesn't matter whether you agree with it or not, because a brand is not determined by you. A brand is determined by perceptions of people. And everyone can get to have a different perception of you. Your task is to see that there's a consistency of that perception amongst different people. And it also then means that the best you can do is to put out things. And you want to put it out in such a clear way that the message is perceived in the same way that you intended it to be. So that was that about branding. Thank you.